introduction in the 21st century, medicine has advanced at a pace once thought impossible. We can perform heart transplants, engineer prosthetics, and decode the human genome. Yet, paradoxically, the majority of people today do not die from infectious diseases or accidents, but rather from chronic illnesses, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and high blood pressure. In his landmark book, How Not to Die, Dr. Michael Greger presents a bold thesis. The vast majority of these chronic diseases can not only be prevented, but in many cases reversed, simply through changes in lifestyle and diet. His evidence is drawn from thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers, and his conclusions point consistently toward one theme: the power of a whole food plant-based diet to save lives. This summary will examine the central arguments of Dr. Greger's work, moving chapter by chapter through the diseases he identifies as leading killers and the foods he prescribes as nature's own medicine. Part 1. The leading causes of death and how to stop them. Dr. Greger structures the first half of his book around the top 15 causes of premature death in the United States, ranging from heart disease to suicide. Each chapter explores the scientific literature on how diet and lifestyle influence these conditions and how specific foods may play a protective role. 1. Heart disease. Heart disease remains the #1 killer worldwide. Yet, research suggests it is almost entirely preventable, and in some cases reversible. Dr. Greger cites studies on plant-based diets showing that arteries can open back up. When patients eliminate animal products and emphasize whole plant foods, cholesterol is the key driver. Animal products such as meat, dairy, and eggs are primary sources of dietary cholesterol and saturated fat. By contrast, plant foods contain fiber and phytonutrients that actively help lower cholesterol levels. Dr. Greger makes a compelling case. Rather than treating heart disease with stents and drugs, we could largely eliminate it by shifting to plants. 2. Lung diseases. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and lung cancer are strongly associated with smoking, but diet plays a role as well. Cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, kale, and cabbage contain compounds that support detoxification pathways in the lungs. Dr. Greger highlights evidence that these vegetables may reduce the risk of lung cancer, even among smokers. 3. Brain diseases. Alzheimer's disease and other dementias are increasingly common as people live longer. Here, diet again emerges as a key factor. Saturated fat and cholesterol are associated with cognitive decline, while antioxidants from berries and leafy greens may protect the brain. Even modest dietary changes, such as adding blueberries to the daily diet, have been shown to improve memory performance. 4. Digestive cancers. Cancers of the colon, stomach, and esophagus are profoundly influenced by what we eat. Processed meats, now classified by the World Health Organization as carcinogenic, increase the risk of colorectal cancer. On the other hand, dietary fiber from beans, whole grains, and fruit speeds transit time in the gut, reducing carcinogen exposure and supporting a healthy microbiome. 5. Infections. Even in the era of antibiotics, infections claim lives. Dr. Greger explains that certain foods can boost the immune system, such as garlic and mushrooms. Interestingly, plant-based diets also reduce antibiotic resistance indirectly, since factory farming, where antibiotics are overused in livestock, is a primary driver of resistant bacteria. 6. Diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is often thought of as inevitable with age, but research shows it is largely preventable. Diets rich in fiber and low in fat improve insulin sensitivity. In contrast, animal fats can cause fat buildup in muscle and liver cells, impairing glucose metabolism. Remarkably, patients have reverse diabetes by adopting a plant-based diet, sometimes discontinuing medications entirely. 7. High blood pressure. Hypertension is one of the most common chronic conditions and a leading cause of stroke and kidney failure. Plant-based diets. Lower blood pressure naturally, likely due to high potassium and low sodium levels, as well as the blood vessel relaxing properties of nitrates found in leafy greens and beets. 8. Liver diseases. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is rising sharply, linked to obesity and processed foods. Whole plant foods combat this by reducing fat deposition in the liver. Coffee, surprisingly, has been shown to reduce risk of liver disease progression, but it works best as part of an overall healthy lifestyle. 9. Blood cancers. Leukemia, lymphoma, and multiple myeloma are devastating illnesses. But some evidence points to a protective role of green leafy vegetables and berries, while higher intakes of animal products may correlate with increased risk. 10. Kidney disease. Excess dietary protein, particularly from animal sources, puts strain on the kidneys. Plant proteins, by contrast, are less taxing and provide beneficial compounds. Dr. Greger cites evidence that reducing animal protein can slow the progression of kidney disease. 11. Breast cancer. Breast cancer is strongly influenced by hormonal factors, which in turn are affected by diet. Soy, once controversial, is now shown to reduce recurrence risk in breast cancer survivors. Fiber helps reduce circulating estrogen levels, providing further protection. 12. Suicidal depression. Mental health is not separate from physical health. Diet influences mood through mechanisms such as inflammation, neurotransmitter balance, and gut microbiota. Omega-3 fatty acids from plant sources like flax seeds and walnuts, along with leafy greens and berries, appear to lower risk of depression. 13. Prostate cancer. Men in cultures consuming traditional plant-based diets have dramatically lower rates of prostate cancer compared to those in Western nations. Flax seeds, soy, and tomatoes rich in lycopene show particular promise in reducing risk and slowing disease progression. 14. Parkinson's disease. Neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's may be influenced by toxins in animal products, including pesticides that accumulate in dairy and meat fat. Plant foods rich in antioxidants may offer some protection. 15. Iatrogenic causes. Death by Doctor. Perhaps the most sobering chapter is on iatrogenic causes, deaths resulting from medical errors or side effects of treatments. Dr. Greger does not disparage medicine, but he emphasizes prevention. The safest healthcare intervention is avoiding illness in the first place through lifestyle. Part 2. The Daily Dozen: Foods for Optimal Health. The second half of the book shifts from disease to prescription. Dr. Greger introduces his Daily Dozen, 12 categories of foods and lifestyle practices that he encourages people to consume or engage in every single day. This practical framework distills thousands of studies into actionable steps. 1. Beans, lentils, and chickpeas are nutritional powerhouses, high in fiber, protein, and micronutrients. They are consistently associated with longer life. Populations that live the longest, such as those in the blue zones, consume beans daily. 2. Berries are the fruits with the highest antioxidant power. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and raspberries combat oxidative stress, reduce cancer risk, and improve brain function. 3. Other fruits. Beyond berries, all fruits provide protective compounds, from citrus flavonoids to apple polyphenols. The emphasis is on whole fruits rather than juices. For cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kale, and cauliflower contain sulforaphane, a compound with potent anti-cancer effects. 5. Greens. Dark leafy greens such as spinach, kale, and arugula are rich in nitrates, which help relax blood vessels and reduce blood pressure. 6. Other vegetables. Diversity matters. Carrots, bell peppers, and zucchini provide a spectrum of vitamins and phytonutrients. 7. Float. Just a tablespoon a day supplies lignans, omega-3 fatty acids, and fiber. Flax seeds may reduce breast cancer risk and improve blood pressure. 8. Nuts and seeds. Nuts lower cholesterol and reduce risk of heart disease, despite being calorie-dense. Walnuts, in particular, are rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant omega-3.9. Herbs and spices, turmeric, garlic, ginger, and cinnamon are powerful medicinal foods. Turmeric, with its active compound curcumin, may reduce inflammation and protect against cancer. 10. Whole grains, oats, brown rice, quinoa, and barley provide fiber and nutrients. Whole grain consumption is linked to reduced risk of heart disease and diabetes. 11. Beverages. Water is essential, but tea and coffee also have benefits when consumed without excess sugar or cream. Green tea is particularly rich in catechins, powerful antioxidants. 12. Exercise. Though not a food, daily movement is essential. Even brisk walking can dramatically reduce risk of chronic diseases. Scientific rigor and accessibility. One of the book's strengths is its reliance on peer-reviewed studies. Dr. Greger cites thousands of references, ensuring his claims are evidence-based. He also makes the science accessible, translating complex mechanisms into everyday language. For instance, instead of simply stating that fiber is important, he explains how it feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which in turn produce short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation. He turns abstract biochemistry into practical motivation, critiques and considerations. While overwhelmingly positive, some critics argue that Dr. Greger underplays the benefits of certain non-plant foods, or that not all studies on nutrition are equally strong. Nutrition science is notoriously complex, influenced by confounding variables and industry interests. Nonetheless, the weight of evidence supports the central thesis. Diets centered on whole plant foods are associated with the longest, healthiest lives. Conclusion: A Prescription for Life: How Not to Die is both a wake-up call and a guidebook. It reminds us that our daily choices, 3 times a day, are more powerful than the most advanced medical technologies when it comes to preventing premature death. Dr. Greger's message is ultimately empowering. While genes load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. By choosing beans over burgers, berries over candy, greens over processed snacks, we can dramatically reduce our risk of the diseases that claim most lives. In the end, the book is not just about avoiding death. It is about how to live with vitality, clarity, and resilience.